Sixth grade math, chapter 10 review, part 4. Okay, we're moving on to the area of a circle. These particular directions say to use 22/7 for pi. We are not going to do that. We're just going to continue to use 3.14. So the area of a circle is the amount of space inside the circle. So let's say this is our circle, and let's say it has a diameter of 2. So we got 1 over here, 1 over here, 1 here, 1 here. We try to draw squares in there. It's pretty difficult to come up with how many square inches that would be because it's rounded. And so we need a formula to do that, but that's the idea. How much space, how many square units are inside that circle. Okay, so you need a formula. The area of the circle, all you need to know is R, because the formula is area equals pi r squared. Area is the thing we don't know. We know pi is 3.14 times r is 15, and don't forget the squared part. Now, everybody wants to do more steps in at one time than you really should, because you'll get lost in it. The only thing I want you to take care of is order of operations tells us that we should square that 15 first. Do not multiply by 3.14 first. You will get the wrong answer every single time. So just copy this stuff we're not dealing with yet, and then do 15 squared on your calculator. 15 times 15 is 225. And then all that's left is to multiply 3.14 times 225. And your answer should be 706.5. And we'll keep our unit, which is inches, but because they're asking for area, area is always measured in square units. So it's going to be 706.5 square inches. Okay, number 15, they're still asking for the area of the circle, but they did not give us R, they gave us D. Now you should know your circle terms. Here's a circle. This is a radius, that's R. This is a diameter, that's D. So if the diameter is 14 inches, or 14 meters, then the radius is 7. You would just cut it in half. So you're going to want to make a note for yourself that the radius is 7, because that's what you're going to need in order to find the area of the circle. So don't be fooled when they give you D instead of R. So the formula for the area of a circle is still A equals pi r squared. That's just something you need to have in your notes, and really you should memorize it. A equals 3.14 times, we said r is 7 squared. Just like in the last problem, you have to do your squaring first. 7 times 7 is 49. And then all you have to do is multiply 3.14 times 49. Your answer to that should be 153.86 meters, and because it's area, it's going to be square meters. One more area of a circle problem. This time they gave us R, so that's good. We can go directly to our formula. Area of a circle equals pi r squared. Area equals 3.14 times 1 1/4 squared. Again, we need to do our squaring first. If you put 1 1/4 into your calculator and then square it or multiply it by 1 1/4, as a decimal, you'll get 1.5625. So that's fine. And then all you have to do is multiply that by 3.14. and you should get an answer of 4 point, we're rounding to the nearest hundredth, so we're going to put 4.91, and that is going to be centimeters squared, so square centimeters. Okay, we've been dealing with two-dimensional figures, and now we're going to three-dimensional figures, which are called geometric solids. The question here is, how many faces, edges, and vertices are there? Faces are flat surfaces. So there is a bottom and a top, that makes two. There's a front, here's the top, and the bottom's back here. Then there's this front face right here, and there's a back face, that's two more. And then we've got two sides that are parallel planes, and that makes 6 faces, 6 flat surfaces. Okay, then we're going to find edges. Edges are where two faces meet, and usually in a drawing, those would be lines. Okay, so we've got all of these lines, including the dashed lines. Okay, so you need to count those up. And essentially, you've got 4 on the front, 4 on the back, and then these 4 that connect the front and the back. So that would make 12 edges. And then vertices. Vertices is a plural word. It's the plural of vertex. A vertex is where 3 or more edges come together. And so here's one right here. They're like the sharp points. So we've got 4 of them in the front, and we've got 4 of them in the back. And that makes 8 vertices. This shape right here is called a rectangular prism. A prism has a base and another base that are parallel to each other, and they're exactly the same size and shape. And then those two bases are joined by, some people would say parallelograms, but for our purposes, they're all going to be rectangles. So we've got 4 rectangles here that join these two bases, a top and a bottom, are joined by 4 rectangles. That's called a prism. And this one's called a rectangular prism because the base is a rectangle.